My fiancée faked cheating texts to destroy me. My family believed her without question, then cut me off overnight. I lost my reputation, my inheritance, and everyone I loved. So I moved to a city where no one knew my name. I'm Arjun Shah. Born and bred in San Francisco, son of eco-resort royalty Vijay and Anuka Shah, the people who figured out how to make saving the planet a luxury brand. Think solar-powered villas, $40 smoothies, and Instagram influencers paid to meditate. That was our world. But here's the twist no one saw coming. My girlfriend faked cheating texts to destroy me. And my family? They didn't just believe her. They cut me off and erased me like I was some stain on their curated perfection. Let me take you back. Maya Sharma, daughter of our family's best business partners. Event planning royalty. The power couple dream. The Shahs and Sharmas were like the Kennedys and Rockefellers of eco-glam. When Maya and I started dating, the applause in the boardroom was deafening. I was 24, fresh into the family business. Maya, 23, was already running her parents' company socials like it was a Fortune 500 firm. We met at one of those networking parties where the champagne's free but your life's already been auctioned. At first, we clicked. Shared sarcasm, mutual understanding of what it meant to be a brand before you were a person. She knew the pressure, the polished conversations, the fake toasts. She knew how exhausting it was to smile for rooms filled with plastic praise. But what I didn't know then was that Maya wasn't just playing the game. She was building her kingdom. And I was just another pillar to hold it up. Our relationship became the PR dream. Arjun and Maya, the future of both families. My parents were thrilled. My mom called her the perfect daughter-in-law, a sentence that made me choke every time she said it. My dad, who usually treated emotions like legal disclaimers, would light up when Maya entered a room. We were never just a couple. We were a merger. At first, I tried to embrace it. The public appearances. The rehearsed smiles. The endless photo shoots disguised as dinner parties. Maya was in her element, heels sharp enough to kill, charm dialed to 11, always ready with a perfectly filtered post. But behind the scenes, the shine dulled. If I said I needed a break, she guilt-tripped me. We're building something, Arjun. People expect us to be present. If I missed a gala because of burnout, it became, do you even care about what we're doing here? Our life was no longer a relationship. It was a campaign. I started to suffocate. I tried to talk to my parents. Big mistake. Maya's amazing, my mom insisted. You're just overwhelmed. Don't screw this up. She's your future, my dad said as if love was a bullet point in a quarterly report. Even my sister, Priya, who I thought had my back, would wave off my doubts like they were PR blips. You're lucky, she said. Maya's the total package. Don't be stupid. And maybe I was. Because I stayed. I kept pretending. I kept smiling. And the resentment? It grew like rot in the walls. The real Maya wasn't evil. She was just obsessed with how things looked. Everything we did had to be picture perfect. Every event, every date night, every single moment was an Instagram story waiting to happen. And me? I became a prop in my own life. But when I finally started to pull back, when I stopped showing up like her personal trophy, she noticed. And that's when everything collapsed. It started with a text from my sister. Call me now. No, hi, no context. Just 5 words that felt like a warning shot. Priya wasn't the dramatic type. If she texted in all caps, something was either on fire or about to be. I called. She didn't even say hello. How could you do this to Maya? She snapped. You disgusting piece of... I had to pull the phone away from my ear. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb, Arjun. The texts. She showed me. I saw them with my own eyes. You called some girl, babe. You talked about sneaking around. You planned to meet up with her. How could you? I froze. My stomach dropped. My pulse surged. What texts? Don't insult my intelligence, Priya hissed. You're pathetic. She hung up. I sat there, the phone still in my hand, staring at the screen like it might explain. I knew I hadn't cheated. I hadn't even flirted. I barely spoke to anyone outside of work and Maya. But I didn't need a DNA test to know what had just happened. Maya had faked it. And everyone believed her. Over the next 48 hours, my life imploded like a controlled demolition. My parents called me in for a family discussion. Translation, a public shaming with tea. Maya was there, sitting next to my mother on the couch, tissues delicately clutched, mascara running just enough to look tragic but not messy. A performance. I didn't want to show anyone, she whispered, holding up her phone. But I had to. On the screen were screenshots of texts from me to someone named Reena. Romantic. Flirty. Explicit. Cold sweat hit me. They looked real. But they weren't. I'd never seen them in my life. I don't even know Reena. I love you, one message said. We'll figure it out. Just give me time. She doesn't suspect anything. It was like reading dialogue from a soap opera written by someone who watched too many telenovelas. I turned to my dad. This is fake. I never sent those. He didn't blink. We've seen the timestamps. The phone number. The language. Own your mistake. It's not mine to own. I snapped. This is insane. My mom started crying. Maya buried her face in her hands like she was mourning the death of a fairy tale. We trusted you, she sobbed. I loved you. I wanted to scream. To laugh. To grab the phone and throw it across the room. But I didn't. I walked out. And by the time I got back to my apartment, I was already disowned. That weekend, the smear campaign went viral. In our family circle, at least. Cousins messaged me with backhanded advice. Everyone makes mistakes, bro. Just apologize and fix it. One of my aunts posted a Facebook status about how loyalty matters more than love. Subtle, elegant, devastating. Even extended business partners started pulling away. Invitations stopped coming. Emails went unanswered. Maya, meanwhile, played the betrayed queen to perfection. Photos of her healing journey at wellness retreats. Cryptic captions about rising stronger. Quotes about self-respect. She didn't just break up with me. She buried me alive. And the worst part? My family helped her dig the grave. I packed 2 suitcases, transferred what was left of my savings, and got on a one-way flight to Austin. No plan. No connections. No safety net. I wasn't running away. I was escaping a reality that had collapsed under the weight of one woman's performance and an entire family's blind loyalty. The first thing about starting over? You don't realize how much you've forgotten how to do it. I landed in Austin with 2 bags, a burned reputation, and no one expecting me. No trust fund. No family dinners. No curated future. Just me. I rented a cheap apartment on the outskirts of the city. Concrete walls, leaky faucets, neighbors who argued loud enough for Netflix to pick up the script. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. And after what I came from, the spotlight, the surveillance, the anonymity felt like oxygen. My first job was in software sales. A beige office with buzzing fluorescent lights, cubicles stacked like cardboard boxes, and coworkers who made small talk about weather and weekend tacos. No one cared who I was. And that was a gift. I kept my head down. Showed up early. Stayed late. Ate sad turkey sandwiches at my desk until a guy named Jake invited me to a taco truck. You eat like a man who just lost everything, he joked. Close, I said. I lost something I never actually had. In the quiet of my new life, I started to rebuild. Not with a vengeance. With structure. Every day, I told myself, no one's coming to save you. No family bailout. No damage control team. Just grind. Grit. Growth. I studied my industry. Took night classes online. Taught myself operations consulting. Started picking up small freelance gigs on the side, helping businesses run better, leaner, and smarter. A bakery that couldn't track its inventory. A yoga studio hemorrhaging cash. A boutique shop with no system behind the scenes. I helped them all. And one day, someone paid me more than I made in a month to fix a supply chain issue. I quit my sales job the next morning. That's how it started. Quietly. No fanfare. No LinkedIn post. Just a man in a $700 per month apartment building a consulting firm from scratch. In the middle of this rise, I met Hannah. She was a freelance graphic designer I'd hired for a client. We met over coffee at a crowded cafe on South Congress. She had paint on her fingers, a soft smile, and zero interest in who I used to be. She didn't care about my last name. She didn't ask about Maya. She didn't try to shape me into a brand. We started as friends. Coffee became late-night phone calls. Jokes became inside jokes. She didn't push. She just listened. Challenged me. Reminded me I still had worth beyond what people assumed. Being with Hannah was like exhaling after holding my breath for 3 years. 2 years passed. I had a business. A partner who loved me for who I was, not what I represented. Clients who paid me because I delivered, not because I had the right pedigree. And a peace I never thought I'd earn. I didn't think about Maya. I didn't check on my family. I deleted their numbers. Blocked their emails. Refused to Google them. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't owe anyone an explanation. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something made me answer. Arjun? A hesitant voice asked. Priya, my sister. The same one who'd called me a liar. The same one who cut me off like bad press. I need to tell you something, she said, voice shaking. I didn't speak. I just waited. It's about Maya. The day the truth exploded into my life, it came disguised as a simple, unexpected phone call. I'd been out with Hannah, grabbing tacos at our usual spot when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something in my gut made me answer. Hello, Arjun, came a hesitant voice, familiar but frayed at the edges. Priya, my sister, the sister who hadn't spoken to me in years. My breath caught, but I kept my voice steady and neutral. Priya, what's going on? A silence hung heavy, filled only by her shaky breathing. Then, I need to tell you something about Maya. Her name landed between us, sharp as broken glass. A chill crawled down my spine. Hannah watched me closely, eyes narrowed in concern. Go on, I whispered. I didn't want to believe it, but Maya lied. All of it. The cheating texts. Everything. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, drowning out the bustling sounds around me. The world blurred at the edges. What do you mean, lied? Priya took a ragged breath, the kind that comes before the worst confessions. Alina, Maya's friend. She reached out to me. She couldn't keep quiet anymore. She said Maya faked the texts. She staged everything. Arjun, she destroyed your life because she saw you pulling away, and she panicked. She decided if she couldn't control you, she'd ruin you. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone tighter. Every moment of pain, every sleepless night flashed behind my eyelids like a cruel slideshow. You didn't cheat, did you? Priya asked quietly, the question dripping with regret. Never, I said, my voice low and dangerous, trembling with years of bottled fury. Not once. A choked sob escaped her, raw with guilt. Arjun, I'm so sorry. I was blinded. We all were. I should have known better. I felt no relief, no triumph, just the hollow ache of betrayal made clearer by hindsight. Does everyone else know? I asked finally, bitterness creeping into my tone. A beat of hesitation. Yes, Mom, Dad. They've known for a few days. My jaw tightened. And silence, long and deafening. Then, in a whisper, Priya admitted, they didn't say anything. They told me to leave it alone, to move on. They don't want to admit they were wrong. It was exactly what I'd expected. Yet somehow worse hearing it out loud. My family had buried the truth, choosing pride and reputation over me. Again. Thank you for telling me, I finally said, the words stiff with restraint. But it's a bit late. I know, Priya murmured, voice breaking. I can't change it. I just needed you to know. We hung up with quiet goodbyes, the line going dead like a lifeline snapping. Across the table, Hannah's eyes locked onto mine. Her hand reached for mine instinctively. What happened? Maya lied. She faked the texts. Saying it out loud felt surreal, like unearthing a hidden wound and finding it infected beyond repair. My family knows, but they're choosing silence. Again, Hannah's jaw clenched, a flash of anger rare in her gentle demeanor. Unbelievable. After everything they did to you. I looked down, studying our intertwined fingers. They built their lives around appearances, Hannah. Admitting they're wrong would mean tearing everything down. She squeezed my hand, her voice firm. Then let them live with it. In that moment, clarity crystallized. I'd spent years waiting for validation, for someone to say I wasn't the villain. But even now, with the truth exposed, my family had chosen silence. I knew then, fully and finally, that there was no returning to a place where pride mattered more than people. That night, I lay awake beside Hannah, staring at the ceiling. Memories surged uninvited. The endless nights Maya had insisted we smile for the camera. The way my parents had praised her endlessly. The ache of isolation after I'd been cast out. Do you think you'll confront them? Hannah asked softly, sensing my turmoil. No, I whispered, surprising myself. They chose their side a long time ago. She leaned up, studying my face carefully. You deserved better. I got better, I said, pulling her closer. I got real. She smiled softly, nestling against my chest. In the quiet darkness, her heartbeat felt like the only thing that had never lied. Days later, a cold, formal message arrived. An email from Priya. Subject: Aaron's wedding invitation. I stared at it, disbelief rising again. Aaron, my younger brother, getting married. And I was invited casually through email, as though nothing had happened. As though years of silence and betrayal could be erased with an RSVP. I didn't reply. Another message followed soon after, emotional, pleading. Arjun, it would mean so much. Please, let's move forward. Move forward, I muttered bitterly, slamming the laptop shut. That phrase, like a mantra of denial, repeated by everyone who'd hurt me. I expected silence to follow, but instead, my father called. Seeing his name on my screen made my blood boil, yet curiosity compelled me to answer. Arjun, his voice stiff, overly controlled. Priya says you haven't responded about Aaron's wedding. I let out a cold laugh. If Aaron wants me there, why can't he call me himself? He hesitated. You know he's not good with these things. But he's good with disowning me without a second thought? That's in the past. You chose Maya's lies over your son. I interrupted, my voice ice sharp. You destroyed my reputation without a second thought. He sighed impatiently. Family means forgiving mistakes. Your presence at the wedding is important. Important for who? My voice rose, fury finally breaking free. For you? For appearances? Not for me. I hung up without another word, the weight of my decision heavy but freeing. The wedding came and went without me. No regrets, just quiet acceptance. Hannah and I spent that day hiking trails outside Austin. It was peaceful. No photographers, no gossip, just nature's simple truth. For the first time, I understood that my family's absence from my life wasn't emptiness. It was freedom. Weeks later, another call. My mother this time, emotional, pleading, manipulative. "You're breaking my heart," she said dramatically. "Aaron deserves a family. He deserved a family who stood by the truth." I shot back, calm and unwavering. "I'm not pretending anymore." She paused, stunned into silence. Then finally, weakly, "But, Arjun." "No," I said firmly. "You chose your image. I chose reality. We're done." The line went dead, my final word echoing in my ears. That night, with Hannah asleep beside me, I felt peace deeper than I'd known in years. My past had crashed and burned, but I'd rebuilt from the ashes. My family's silence no longer wounded me. It clarified who I was and what I deserved. As I drifted off, I finally felt whole. Not because I'd been vindicated, but because I'd finally chosen myself. Months slipped by quietly after I'd severed those final strings connecting me to my family. Austin had slowly become my sanctuary, a place free of facades, where every interaction felt genuine, every day unburdened by expectations. The consulting business thrived. Hannah and I moved into a cozy, sunlit apartment overlooking the river, a place that felt more like home than the opulent mansions of my youth ever had. We spent lazy Saturdays exploring farmers markets, and evenings laughing with friends at rooftop gatherings. Life became beautifully uncomplicated. Yet I never fully forgot. Occasionally, my thoughts drifted back to the marble halls of my parents' mansion, echoes of family dinners where the conversation had always felt rehearsed. I wondered if they ever truly understood what they'd lost, what they had willingly discarded for pride and image. Then one afternoon, a package arrived at my doorstep. Hannah stood curiously behind me as I opened it, revealing a carefully wrapped album. Inside, old photos smiled up at me. Childhood birthdays, family vacations, snapshots of Aaron and Priya laughing, my parents beaming proudly. A small note fell out, handwritten by Priya. "These memories were real. I know it's late, but please remember, some things were genuine even if we weren't. Forgive us someday. I love you." I traced the faces frozen in time, my fingertips brushing against lost innocence. Hannah squeezed my shoulder gently. "Are you okay?" I nodded slowly, breathing out a heavy sigh. "Yeah, just reminded me of the parts one do miss, the pieces that felt real." She held me tighter, quiet understanding radiating from her presence. "You can miss them and still choose not to go back." I smiled softly, closing the album. Exactly. That night, I stared at the ceiling, memories swirling. My heart ached with an odd mix of nostalgia and finality. Priya's note had cracked open a long-buried door, but I didn't step through it. Instead, I let it close, peacefully, consciously. A year after the truth had emerged, I received news through distant family channels. Maya had gotten engaged again, another prominent figure from our social circles. Rumors whispered her new fiancé was another carefully chosen chess piece in her never-ending social strategy. The news brought no anger, no bitterness, just quiet pity. She was trapped in a cycle of performance, incapable of authentic love. And though she'd nearly destroyed me, I now saw her clearly. A deeply lonely soul hiding behind glittering lies. I wished her luck silently, grateful to be free. Then came a message I didn't expect. Aaron reached out directly, bypassing Priya's cautious middleman approach. The text was short, hesitant, but oddly sincere. "Hey Arjun, I'm sorry I didn't reach out sooner. You deserved better from all of us. I can't change the past, but I want you to know I'm here if you ever want to talk." I stared at the screen, emotions warring within me, caution, skepticism, and something gentler. Slowly, carefully, I typed a reply. "Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate you reaching out. Maybe one day we'll talk. Take care." Not forgiveness exactly, but an openness. A possibility. It was enough for now. Life moved steadily forward. Hannah and I planned a quiet, intimate wedding. Friends and clients who had become family filled the small chapel, warm smiles replacing the cold, curated audience of my past. No cameras, no staged shots, just genuine joy. On our honeymoon, sitting on a quiet beach as waves lapped gently against the shore, Hannah leaned into me. "Are you happy?" she asked softly, her eyes reflecting the stars above. I smiled, the feeling easy and true. More than I ever thought possible. Eventually Priya called again. This time her voice was calmer, steadier. "I won't ask you to come back anymore," she said, voice soft. "But please, don't close the door completely. You taught me something, Arjun, how important authenticity is. I wish we'd understood sooner." Her sincerity touched something deep within me. "I'm not closing the door, Priya. I'm just not walking through it yet. Maybe one day when wounds are less fresh." She sighed with relief. I'll wait for that day. It was the last time we spoke for a long while. But her words lingered gently, hopeful, and bittersweet. Years passed and my life was reshaped in ways I'd never envisioned. Austin was home. Hannah and I built our world quietly away from flashing cameras and strategic partnerships. We raised a small rescue dog, hiked mountain trails on weekends, and celebrated life's quiet victories. Then, unexpectedly, my father called one evening. His voice sounded older, humbled by time. Arjun, I was wondering if we could talk. Just talk. I hesitated, heart thumping hard. After years of silence, here he was, pride finally stripped bare. I'm listening. He cleared his throat. I've had time to think. Losing you, it was the hardest mistake I've ever made. We chose our pride over you. I chose my pride. I'm sorry. A heavy silence stretched between us. It wasn't the elaborate apology I dreamed of, but it felt honest. Real. Thank you for saying that, I said softly. I've built something good here, Dad. A life that's real. But maybe one day we could start fresh. His voice cracked slightly. I'd like that. We hung up gently, not sure when or how, but both aware that a step had been taken, small but meaningful. That night, as Hannah and I sat beneath string lights in our small yard, the sky deepening into shades of indigo, she turned to me curiously. Do you think you'll ever fully forgive them? I considered her question carefully, tasting its weight. Maybe. But forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's releasing myself from the weight of their mistakes. She smiled warmly. That's wise. I chuckled softly. Learned it the hard way. She leaned her head on my shoulder. I'm proud of you, Arjun. And in that simple moment, beneath a vast, star-studded Texas sky, I finally felt a sense of absolute closure, not built on revenge or bitterness, but on something far stronger. Freedom. Life had twisted and torn me, leaving scars deeper than I'd thought possible. But those wounds healed into wisdom, resilience forged through fire. My past was behind me, not erased but accepted. My family, flawed yet human, had taught me the value of authenticity in the harshest way. I wasn't grateful for their betrayal, but I was grateful for the man I'd become because of it. I no longer lived a carefully scripted life. I lived genuinely, bravely, fully aware of my worth, and surrounded by those who saw and cherished the real me. And that, in the end, was the greatest victory. Arjun's life was shattered by a single, vicious lie, a betrayal from the people he trusted most. But rather than breaking him, it revealed his true strength. He chose authenticity over appearance, peace over revenge, and built a new life far richer than the one he lost. But now here's the real question. If your entire family betrayed you based on a lie, could you ever truly forgive them? Would you welcome them back, or close the door forever? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.